Okay, so nobody was able to hop on tonight, which is totally fine. I know everyone's reasons, but so I will probably keep this a little bit shorter and run through this, but I thought this was really important to share and talk about. Using the BAT is kind of the short term, or the BAT is the Business Activity Tracker to hit Success Club. So for a lot of you, this might be old news. You might use it every day. You might know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't. Um, but I thought Brianna was actually the one that was like, talk about it. And now there's a digital version. So I actually want to talk about both the digital and the paper version and kind of maybe my opinions on it. But, and also how I've started using this every single week and how I'm consistently hitting Success Club. And I do believe that the tracker has a lot to do with that. So, I felt like that was really important because we all want to get in Success Club no matter what our goals are, to get those prizes, to get invited to those trips, and all the fun things that go with it. So, okay, here we go. So there is the digital version now, and I will, on the next page, I'm going to talk about how to find that one. I might actually show you in the coach office too, but there's a digital version now, and then there's the old school paper version. So I just snapped a picture of mine here from the past week. It does start on a Thursday to a Thursday. They both do that. And I actually looked, side note here, I looked in the coach office, and there isn't even a PDF to print all of a sudden. So they took it off. There's just the digital. So, but if you don't have the paper version, so I keep one copy in my printer all the time so that I can keep printing it off. But I get a lot of satisfaction from checking the boxes off and having that visual hard copy. The other thing is that it's a lot more specific. Let me see if I can, yeah, that works. So it's a lot more specific and how they break it down, especially for if you are newer or you're not exactly sure what each of those sections mean if you were using the digital tracker. So I think I am going to talk about this first, and then I'll go to the next screen and just show you how you can find the digital one. So it'll kind of feel out of order, but since we're already on this page, let me move my picture somewhere else. Okay, so first of all, it starts with the Y at the top. I love that. I write that every week, and I kind of change the wording a little bit so that I'm not just copying it. If you see me keep glancing, I'm trying to look at the video, so I'm looking at you. Put it up there a little bit. Yeah, so this is the same work. You do your workout, do your shake, drink your shake. Those are part of our vital behaviors. Because as it says here, number 1, be proof the product works. So we have these 4 vital behaviors in our business that Beachbody has laid out and said, hey, like, these have to be non-negotiables if you want to help people and if you want to see success in your business at all. If you want to get anyone signed up, you have to be taking care of yourself first. And we've talked about that. That is the foundation of our business, is our own health journey, right? And that's why most of us got started. So we want to make sure we're getting our workout in, drinking our shake, or, some products that we're sharing every day. And there is a spot for that here on the stories, which we'll talk about that in a second. So you don't have to do these in order. I don't. I do them in whatever pocket of time I have, that amount. And you know what? Oh yeah, it does have. So this one has kind of a suggested time. If you're really interested in hitting Success Club, and I wouldn't even say business building, but it will take a little bit more time than we say a power hour would do. But again, I don't sit down and work all at once. I sit down and work in chunks, like 30 minutes here, an hour here, 10 minutes, 2 minutes, however it works for you. So, so this first one, I'm just going to briefly touch each one. Oh, Brianna's hopping on. I'm just going to keep talking. Okay. Side note, Brianna, I was recording it. I'm going to just record it and post it. So I'm kind of in the middle of talking already. So it'll sound random. But I'm just going through the tracker right now and just kind of briefly explaining what each thing is on the paper version. And then we're going to look at the digital, and I'm going to keep this pretty short. So yeah, so we talked about workouts being proof the product works. So then the second one is really the main chunk of our work. That would be kind of that power hour section, when you hear that term, if you haven't heard it yet. So initiate connections and add followers. 20 minutes, and honestly, it can be less than that. I guess I probably spend that much time when I'm answering messages back and forth, but when I come to this spot, I go and add friends. I send either friend requests or follow requests, depending on if you're on Facebook or Instagram. You can choose your number for that. There's no magic number. How fast do you want to grow your following? That's up to you. I forget the rule of thumb, like the very, very minimum for any of this stuff is 5 a day. But for followers, like on Instagram, those 5 might not even follow you back. So I do at least 50 a day. And then, I'm lucky to get 5 or 10 that follow me in a day. So you play around with it. If you're not getting the numbers that you want, then increase them. That's all I'm doing, sending the request. And then initiating the connections is going to be what we call those new conversations. That's going to be when they accept that friend request or that follow. I just say, hey, thanks for the follow back. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? I say that every single time. I know I've said this before on calls, but you don't have to overthink it. It doesn't need to be hard. It doesn't need to be awkward. And it really doesn't need to take that much time. They tell me where they're from. I say, that's so cool. I'm from Washington. What do you do? They tell me their job, or they tell me they're stay-at-home mom. So then, you can elaborate on that, or you can let it drop. And it probably works different depending on the person. But for me, I was spending way too much time building the relationship and talking to people and investing all this time and they might not still end up wanting to be invited. So I have cut that down quite a bit, and it saves me a lot of time, and really I'm still having effective results. So that part should not be hard or time consuming. And I would say that 20 minutes is even, answering them back and messaging back and forth. But I will say a little note here. When I do each section, I'm not answering messages. I'm not responding to messages. I'm just sending the request. Okay, I will come back later when I have a good list of people that follow me back, and then I'll copy and paste that same message, hey, nice to meet you, where are you from, whatever, to those people. And then even when I send them, I don't answer them back right away, because they're going to be talking and it's going to suck up your time. So I wait, unless I have time and I'm just sitting there doing nothing, which is rare. So just know that you don't have to answer people back right when you send that. Do that chunk and then move on to the next thing. And that's why I can knock out a power hour really fast. You can answer those messages later. They're really easy to answer. Okay. The next one is do a social media post that showcases the benefits of your healthy lifestyle or has a call to action. That's very specific, and we don't always need to be posting about Beachbody. I have to remind myself of this because sometimes I post too much and I forget to post regular life and just fun stuff. But put a post up, okay? Add value, like we've talked. I know we've had posting calls about that too. Add value, even if it's a joke, even if it's a motivational quote or a recipe or all those simple things. Put something out there that's more valuable than just people scrolling through Facebook looking at people's kids or their life, or, add a little value when you word things. Oh, what did I do? Oh, weird. Okay. Oh, because I had it. Okay. So the next one is updating your stories through the day. And this is not something that has to be perfect. Although I do try to make sure, for the most part, you can see I have a few holes there, but I do try to make sure that I get all those things in, because that reminds me to post on my stories. And it reminds me, like, what are the valuable things that I'm doing and working for and trying to help people with. That being said, we don't need to have only Beachbody. Just like our posts, We want to have some daily life. We want to show our kids, or, you know, whatever it is that you're interested, doing your makeup, or what's your favorite, whatever. I don't even know. So that again is something that I have to sometimes remind myself. Sometimes I'll rewatch my story during the day to be like, okay, I didn't put anything about my life. I just have all this workout and Beachbody stuff. So it's a good reminder to have a good balance of that stuff. I keep doing that. Yeah, and obviously you can read through that, but I don't think all of that is on the digital. It just says update your stories. So, so if you want a closer look at this later, I can send you a screenshot or something so you can see. It's just daily life, workouts, product use, like all of that is more about Beachbody stuff. Yeah. Okay, the next section, respond to all new likes, comments, or views. We don't want people's comments to go unanswered, and I try to stay pretty quick on those. So I will pop into Facebook and just check my post for that day a few times throughout the day just to make sure, because the more that you the more comments you get or the more likes you get, the more that post is boosting back up typically. And so what's happening with my hair? So anyways, make sure that you're responding to those comments, and I would say throughout the day, but then those new likes or the views, like on your stories, maybe take the next day to go back to the day before and invite those people if it had something to do with your workout or something to do with whatever. Send invites to those people that are viewing or liking your posts that you haven't invited already. Or if it's a new conversation, if they're a new view and you've never spoken to them before, just introduce yourself. Nice to meet you. Where are you from? The same thing. Okay, the next section. And so I will say, sorry, I'll go back to that, respond to new likes. Since that's part of that's really where I get all my invites. So that almost goes into this. I don't really follow these times, just so you know. But if you tend to get distracted, it's good to set a timer for those times. But yeah, since I'm responding to all of those, I check that box off. And in the meantime, I'm writing down those names that I'm inviting. So here you're just inviting at least 5 people to join your group. And I would challenge you to invite at least 10 a day if you want to get in Success Club consistently. 5 a day would probably get you in sometimes. But this is just like my own, maybe other coaches can do less, but for my own experience in the past year, the more that I increased my number, the more I didn't have to stress about getting in Success Club by the end of the month. So, and now it's just sort of naturally being more in the like past 10. And then some days I have a 6 or 2, but it all kind of balances out. And you don't have to be overwhelmed by that number. That has to do with your goals and how many people you're wanting to enroll and help. Okay, the end is really just your bod group. So I always feel like it's so nice that they put that in there as a reminder, because I sometimes forget to log my workout. But log your workout. Be a good challenger for your own group, right? Be an example for what you want your challengers to be doing. Make sure that you're putting a post in there, you're responding to people's questions or their comments, and recognizing achievement. That one, I honestly count that one. I used to post, I forget what I called it, maybe just trackers, all the people that worked out for the day when we had our old tracker, but now with the bod group, it's a little different. It shows their picture at the top. So I don't do that anymore, but I just count recognizing achievement as liking everyone's posts, commenting on some people, saying good job, and then putting some of those in our stories sometimes to show proof of what's going on in there. The last one is personal development, which we should all be doing every day. I'm honestly sad that I didn't even do it on Friday. I'm trying to think what I was even doing on Friday. But yeah, so that is the paper version, and that is just a very quick run through of what it would be like to sit down and work and fill this tracker out. Obviously, like there's a whole lot more. You might come up with questions or whatever, but just kind of running through these trackers. And I wanted to share this because it is so important to track your work. For one, to keep track of the names that you're inviting and the follow-ups that you have and the customers that you have. If you need help with that, I've done calls on how to use Asana, and I just use paper to write down the invites that I send, but I don't throw them away. I keep them for reasons like when today on Instagram, all my messages are erased. I'm like, did I even invite that person? I don't remember. And I went back and looked through all my pages, and I did. So I didn't invite them again today. So that was really helpful, and I was glad that I've been keeping track of this. But if you're a numbers person, this drives me writing these numbers down and not just saying, yes, I invited today. Because if we invited one person, we invited, right? But if we invited 20 people, we also invited, and probably it's going to be a lot more effective, just as an example of those numbers. So that's, to me, that's the downfall of the digital. Unless you're keeping track of this somewhere else. If you have a calendar or something, or if you have that pen and paper that you're keeping track of all those names, number them down. But it's really interesting to go back. And I actually did this, I don't know when it was, maybe in January. I actually went back because I thought I've been doing this much this whole time. I've sent 100 invites every week. But I went back and looked at my trackers, and it wasn't. It felt like it some weeks, but then there were weeks that were just 30 or 40 or, much lower. And so I thought, okay, the more consistent of those numbers that you are, the more consistent you're going to be getting in Success Club and hitting those higher numbers. And Morgan Anderson Alexis always says that. She's like, it is people that we're helping, but part of this is a numbers game. If you're not hitting what you want to be hitting, you need to talk to more people. Okay. So, here is how you're going to find the digital. I think I can share my screen for this. Maybe I don't need to. Maybe just whoever's watching this can snap a picture of this or screenshot. But you're just going to log into your coach office. And if you're on your phone, it's so easy to find. It's literally the top left-hand tab. They just changed it last week or the other day. It says daily activity tracker. You click it, it says track today. You click that, and then you just hit the boxes. Actually, I will show it because can you guys see that? I don't know. Hopefully you can. Oh, this isn't what I wanted. Okay. So hopefully you can see that. Yeah. Okay. Earlier I tried and it said that it didn't share the screen. So, okay. So to find it, if you're on your computer, you're going to go to training, Success Club system. This still isn't hard, but it just takes a second. And then Success Club system activity tracker. And then it's right there. So the difference, I was hoping that it showed everything. Yeah, I guess it does. Be proof the product works. It still has all those same tabs. I guess it still has the number. It's just that you can't write the numbers in. So yeah, and that part's not on the other tracker. So anyway, it's really great either way, and it's very satisfying to see those little check marks. I just love that. But that's how you would find it in your office. Okay, I'm just gonna stop share. And I think that's all I'm going to share tonight. And then whoever watches this recording, you can always message me, comment below, asking any questions, or get to the nitty-gritty of how I do certain parts of that power hour, whatever. So yeah, but tracking is really important, and I didn't used to do it, and I didn't used to use the activity tracker, or I would use it sometimes and it wasn't very consistent. And I can honestly attest to the more boxes that are filled out, the more weeks that they're filled out, the more Success Club points I was getting. So It really does work. All right.